All right, hello, my friends. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna do it that way. All right. Welcome to Science Saturday. So, for those of you who are Facebook friends with me, you will know that I have been working outside all day or all morning, and we're a little late today, so sorry about that, but it's a beautiful day out here in Maine. Andrew is like cutting down trees. My boys are currently sitting around the fire, like arguing, because that's what my boys do. And today I am super excited about all the things that we're doing, not only because we get to talk about cell biology, which is like one of my favorite topics, but also because I have a couple other things to announce. So we're talking about cell biology because today is Science Saturday, and then I want to make sure that everybody knows that the replays for this are available in the Proofing Box, which is my free Facebook group where we talk about things like food and food production and all that sort of stuff. And I bring all of these conversations over there because, imagine what it would be like if you wanted what you wanted in your business, okay? If you had good relationships with the people in your business. Like, dude, it's all completely applicable. And I'm super excited to think about relationships today because today Andrew and I are going to have the actual celebration of our 14th wedding anniversary. So the real day was Earth Day on April 22nd, but we're going to go get sushi, and the sushi place is only open in the evenings and not really eat in the evenings. So we're having sushi by the fire today, and I'm so excited, and so it's really awesome. I'm really super stoked about it. And then the next thing I wanted to say is I'm really excited because after talking with a bunch of people, and finally one of my clients saying, I need help with my email list, I am doing a webinar on Monday at 3 o'clock Eastern for anybody in business that wants to learn the basics of digital marketing. Okay, I am pretty good at it. I'm no Facebook ads guru or anything like that. Like, I have somebody who does Facebook ads for me, but I can teach you the basics of it, okay? Because I've been doing it for a really long time. And that'll give you the language and the understanding. And if you are new and you're like starting up a side gig because you're working at home, or you are, and this is what's happening with most of my clients, is all of a sudden you have to reach out directly to consumers and you don't know how to do that. And so we're going to cover email marketing, and I'm going to talk to you about the system that I use and how I started. So I have a pretty complex system now. You don't have to start there, I promise. There are easy, free ways to start, okay, that will help you build what you're doing, and help it be profitable, okay? So that's what I want to make an announcement about. I think we have all of that. All of these talks are over on the YouTube channel. Go like us on the YouTube channel. As soon as I get like 100 people, I get to like name my YouTube channel, and I think I'm halfway there. Woohoo! What else? I think that's about it. So I kind of want to dive in. So today is Science Saturday. I love doing Science Saturday because I love science. I love science so much. I just ran in. I was sitting out by the fire taking a break, and I ran in, and I have like mud all over, or dirt all over my my floor here in my office because I came in and I like took off my boots and just got up in front. And so this is another thing. Like, if you're planning on coming on Monday, one of the things I'm going to be talking about, and one of the things that is applicable to like all the stuff that I'm talking about, is just doing imperfect action. Like, guys, I'm breaking all the rules right here. I ran in inside. I have no idea. Well, I mean, I can look at the camera and I know what my hair looks like, and I don't care. I'm in my Carhartts, right? And a tank top. And like, if my, I'm breaking so many rules. Like, if my coach saw me, she'd be like, you're not ready to go to work. And I'm sure she wouldn't care, but like, it's like, imperfect action. So if you've been working on the stuff that we've been working on for the past 3 weeks, like understanding like the truth of what you're doing and what you think about it, from weight and alcohol and money and work and all that sort of stuff, and wanting what you want, what does it look like to take imperfect action, okay? We're outside today and we're like chopping down trees. So Andrew, I don't know if you can hear the chainsaw in the background. Andrew is chopping down trees. We're building what's called hugel cultures because we have so much biomass around here that we kind of leave it in place and compost it in place. Right? There's no manual. This house did not come with a manual, and we just take massive imperfect action to get stuff done. And that's another way that I get so much done, right, is that I'm not always going after the A. It doesn't have to be perfect. I do a ton of Facebook Lives because I know the information that I give is super valuable and important. And if this is one of the things that you're looking to do to like build your brand and build your story, no matter what it is that you're doing, massive imperfect action. Just show the people who you are. Guys, I live in the woods in Maine, and this is what we do on Saturdays. We work outside when the weather is nice. Okay, so with that, let's talk Science Saturday. And as promised, today we are going to be talking about virology and genetics. Okay, and I love this topic, I have to tell you. Like, if I hadn't gone and decided not to get a PhD, because I was not spending another minute in academia. One of the options for a PhD, like they wanted me to stay for a pharmacology PhD because I'm pretty good at pharm, and but I love virology, okay, and I love the way viruses work, and I love, like, I have this whole theory around like what happens in heart disease and coronary artery disease, around how white blood cells transform, and I really do think it has all the markers of being a virus. So anyway, I love virology, and so today on Science Saturday, we are not talking about whether or not you should use Lysol and radiation to cure yourself of a virus, because the answer is no. All right, please do not do that. Lysol and bleach, don't drink them. They are surface disinfectants. Please, like, stop. I don't care where you are on the political spectrum. Knock it off. All right, poison control centers have been like overrun with calls about people doing just that. There are people going to the ER because of it. Just stop. Okay, like that. Don't drink Lysol. Like that's something like you tell your 3-year-old. So please, you've got to use your brain. All right, so with that, my friends, viruses have DNA. Okay, or stop that. Viruses have genomic sequences, okay? And our genomic sequences are built up of things called nucleic acids, okay? And they're called nucleic acids because they were originally found in the nucleus of a cell, okay? And way back when Rosalind Franklin, not Watson and Crick, were looking at these things, and they were figuring out what was the building blocks of life. They were trying to figure it out, okay? And it seemed like for a very long time, RNA was the building blocks of life, because from RNA, not only can you get more genomic sequences, you can, through very complex set of reactions that all of us who have taken cell biology have taken a test on, you can also get proteins. And that's why they thought that RNA was the genetic material of life. It's not. Okay, complex life is not dependent, it's dependent on RNA, but it doesn't come about because of RNA. It comes about because of DNA, all right? The difference between RNA and DNA is actually, you can hear it in the names. RNA stands for ribose nucleic acid, okay? So that's a nucleic acid, an acid, which means it has an H group on it, found in the nucleus of a cell, and ribose is a kind of sugar. You know, you have sucrose and fructose and galactose and all that sort of stuff. Well, ribose is a sugar, and a sugar is just just a chemical designation of something, okay? Deoxyribose nucleic acid is a nucleic acid where the oxygen that's normally associated with the ribose has been removed. So it's been deoxygenated, deoxyribose nucleic acid, okay? And what this means is, and the short difference between DNA and RNA is that removal of that oxygen allows the genomic sequences, so the A's, T's, C's, and G's, to come together in a way, all right, because oxygen is very repulsive. All right, oxygen has a very, very strong electromagnetic presence, chemically speaking, which is kind of why life exists, because the way oxygen and hydrogen associate with each other in a water molecule. When you take that oxygen off, the A's, T's, C's, and G's, they can come together and they can link up. Okay, A's always marry T's and C's always marry G's. And they link up, and they can do it because they don't have these big old honkin', like if this was the end of the nucleic acid, they don't have this big old honkin' like oxygen exuding all of this like negative charge, right? And it's like magnets, and oxygen repels, right? And so they can link up. Because they can link up, they can become much more tightly wound. And DNA, the reason we discovered it second is it's harder to find. Okay, so for my knitters out there, I want you to think of the DNA, right, as like the your 2-ply yarn that most people have, that's all in a jumble in your knitting box, right? And it's all plied around each other. It's 2-ply yarn, so they twist it around each other, right? But then it's all in a jumble. But that's what your DNA looks like when it's in a nucleus and it's not doing anything, all right? And then through a complicated set of reactions, it unfolds and it makes new cells and it does a whole bunch of other things, all right? All of that unfolding and making new cells all requires RNA. But since RNA, all right, it can be single-stranded, double-stranded. Most of the time it hangs out in single strands. RNA is much more able to travel around the cells because it's much more open and it doesn't clump together, right? And so RNA, there are lots of different kinds of RNA. And why is this important? It's because our positive sense, so we have positive and negative sense, most chemicals and most proteins and things like that have a positive and a negative sense, or a right hand and a left hand. And RNA has a right hand and a left hand. You can either twist up that way or you can twist up that way. All right, and RNA is like that. So positive sense RNA viruses. So to somebody who understands genetics, this means that it twists a certain way and it's an RNA virus. So here's a whole set of examples of RNA viruses. Hepatitis B is a positive sense RNA virus. West Nile virus, positive sense RNA virus. Dengue fever, SARS and MERS, and the coronavirus are all positive sense RNA viruses. And then rhinoviruses. And Latin lesson, rhino means nose. Okay, so these are all positive sense RNA viruses. So now, this is a cell. Now, the first thing that I want you to know is, and I remember learning this in cell biology, and when we're in middle school and we're learning about cells and things like that, they seem like kind of flat, pancake-like structures, and we all kind of have this idea in our head that they're like eggs, right? Like a fried egg. And you have a nucleus over here, and then you got all this like empty space, right? And then you have the edge. And then we like memorize the heck out of some of the things that happen and like the different bits of the cell. Okay. But all of this, first of all, is in 3 dimensions. Okay. And what a cell actually is like on the inside is vastly, vastly much more complex. Okay. And what I want you to think about is not only is this in 3 dimensions, okay, and so you have a nucleus of a cell, all right, so you have the nucleus here, okay, and say this is a cell lining your respiratory tract, all right, so you have this nucleus in here, and in this nucleus, we have all of this like densely packed DNA, all right, so this is all my double helix DNA. And it is literally tied in a knot, right? Okay, so that's your nucleus, all right? And then you have all of this, so your nucleus has an envelope around it, all right? And when your cell is going to divide, there are all these messengers that are running all around your cell on a scaffold, okay? And so it looks an awful lot like if you were going to look at a building, okay, or a city that's being built, all of this scaffolding running around, and the proteins go back and forth on these other protein scaffolds, right? And it's kind of cool, okay? So, but here's what happens, okay, when our bodies are attacked by positive sense RNA virus, all right? And this is very simplified, okay? Very simplified. So here's what happens, is we have this, what color should I make my virus? Let's make my virus blue, all right? So we have our single sense RNA virus here, okay? And RNA virus will come in, all right? And you have proteins on the outside of your cell, all right? You have proteins on the outside of your cell, all right, that recognize parts of this virus, all right, and bring this virus through the protein and into the cell. All right, now what's very important to know about positive sense single-stranded RNA viruses is they act as both genetic material and messenger RNA, okay? So what this virus can then do is it comes in, all right, and goes to these organelles, they're called in the cell, all right, called the rough endoplasmic reticulum. No, there won't be a test. All right, it comes to these organelles, all right, okay, and this endoplasmic reticulum, all right, is able to take other strands of RNA in the cell, that are just ours, because we have RNA running around our cells all the time. We have messenger RNA, right, that comes off of here, right? The DNA communicates with the rest of the cell through messenger RNA. And this RNA's job is to go from here to here, all right? And so then all of a sudden, all right, this positive sense virus comes in. Guys, this can't tell the difference between this and this. All it sees is messenger RNA. And so this comes in, all right, and this now hijacks this endoplasmic reticulum. And this endoplasmic reticulum then kicks out, and I'll see if I can do this in 2 colors, kicks out, all right, more RNA, but, dun, 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 it is viral messenger RNA, okay? This viral messenger RNA, all right, will allow for, then be able to come back over here and on the surface of this nucleus, okay? This messenger RNA, among other things, and hijacking the cellular machinery, will allow for this, for more RNA to be created over here, all right? And it will kick out new virus particles, okay? And then this is, if you think about it, is a positive feedback loop, okay? Virus comes in, gets translated by the organelles, hijacks the cellular machinery using mRNA that the cell was otherwise making to make other sorts of proteins, okay? Because that's what the endoplasmic reticulum does. It just brings this RNA in and pops it all apart, okay? The nucleic acids, pops them all apart and reassembles them into messenger RNA, which then comes over here and reassembles other RNA pieces into more viral genome. This is the same thing as this, okay? But then what can also happen is that you can have one that's a lot like this, but isn't exactly like this, and this can also do the same thing, okay? And then all of a sudden here, because of the way these two things work with this, and because they're a little more widely than like a DNA virus, all of a sudden these two things can reassort with themselves, all right? And you get a new strain. That's a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one. And it all hijacked the cellular machinery to do it. Okay? So, this is pretty common with mRNA, with single-stranded positive sense RNA viruses. Now, most of the time, this is enough of like this and this that is not creating a whole new strain of virus. It's just creating something with a little genetic variation. I mean, like, you are not, our DNA is 99.99999% similar. We're all the same species. This is the same, for lack of a better word, species, but it has theme and variations, right? And this is one of the things that makes like figuring out a vaccine a little harder. It makes us wonder about reinfection rates. It makes us wonder about how all of that kind of stuff works. Okay, and it's because a single-stranded positive sense RNA virus is one of the easiest viruses to hijack the cellular machinery. It also reassorts pretty well, okay, and then can become more infectious, right? So that's for Science Saturday. That's what we got. Okay, so with that, let me pop over and see if anybody's got any questions over on the proofing box. See if I can read it without my glasses on. Right. All right. No questions over there. Okay, so if you have questions, just pop in. I'll be able to pop back and forth. Okay, so it's nice to take a break. All right, so with that in mind, here we go. I am going to go through and I'm going to sketch out for you the water, strive, and light that I'm doing. All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to give a shout out to my friend Maggie Reyes because she wrote a really great book about 400 questions that you can ask your spouse with. And so if you're Facebook friends with me, you just go look and you can see the book and order it from Amazon because it's super fun. Andrew and I started it this morning. Got it for ourselves for our anniversary. So much fun. And so here's what I want to explain today. Okay, so you've seen this diagram before. So today we're talking about wanting what you want when it comes to relationships, no matter what the relationship is. Okay? So you have all the relationships that you have. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a spouse, I'm a CEO, I'm a buyer, seller, I'm like all the relationships, right? And so this is me. Right? My crazy curly hair. But here's the deal, and that is about like corkscrews someplace and waves and others, right? And all of my relationships are created by my thoughts. All of the results in my relationships are created by my thoughts. I have a fabulous relationship with my husband because I work really hard on understanding the thoughts that serve me when it comes to my husband. Okay? Marriage is a choice, and it's a choice I make every day. And I love it. I love being married. Okay? And so, one of the things that's super important is to understand what the hell you want in your life and what the hell you want in your relationships. Okay? So what kind of relationships do you want? I don't want my husband to be my client. Okay? I don't want my husband to be my client. I don't want my husband to be my dentist because he's a computer programmer. Okay? And I know those are kind of silly examples, but there are all sorts of easy ways to look at relationships. So I have a relationship with my dentist. I want my dentist to be my dentist. Okay? I want my doctor to be my doctor. I want my coach to be my coach. And I want my friends to be my friends. All right? So if it helps, what you might do when you're thinking about wanting what you want in your relationships is to think about all of the different things that you want in a relationship. Okay? So in my relationship with my kids, there are things that I want. I want to be a mentor. I want to be a coach. I want to be, you say you want to be a loving mother, but what the hell does that look like, right? It looks like being a mentor and being a coach and being a disciplinarian and being somebody who can show up with her whole heart and teach them how to be kind and competent, good citizens of the world. That's kind of what we're going after with kids, right? And for those of you who have kids, there's not always a match there, right? They don't always want the same things that we want, right? They don't want to eat vegetables. At least kids doesn't want to eat their vegetables, okay? And I have all the reasons why I want him to eat his vegetables, right? And with a kid, we can do something about it, all right? With your spouse, whether or not your spouse is going to eat his vegetables or her vegetables, do they really want somebody who's going to hold them accountable for eating vegetables? If they do, and that is something that they want their spouse to be their, diet and nutrition partner, then great. That is what we call a want match. Okay? And one of the things that's super incredibly difficult, all right, is when we have these relationships, and I think this is really true right now, because we're with our families all the stinking time, is how much we have come to depend on the primacy of a marriage relationship to the detriment, I think, of our marriage relationships and our mental health, right? I dish with my girlfriends in ways that I don't with my husband, okay? I'm not sleeping with my girlfriends. I am sleeping with my husband, all right? And so, what does it look like to want what you want from your spouse or your partner or whatever it is, okay? And be okay with that. And just want what you want from it. And let it be okay. That can be a very interesting journey for you guys to go on, okay? And there are lots of different ways for that to come about and to honestly make your relationship stronger, right? And when you decide what you want, then what you can do is you can go in and you can test it, right? And so one of the things that I'm working on and I think I've probably mentioned it, but one of the things I'm working on in my own coaching is I am working on parenting my 12-year-old as the person who he is. Okay? And so I'll walk you through what that looks like, because my relationship with Zach is 100% in my mind. And his relationship with me, okay, is 100% in his mind. Here, Zach has all this crazy long hair right now. He's trying to grow his hair out, and he has such thick hair that it's just going out. It's awesome. All right, and so, but notice there's no there's no overlap right here. It's all in my head and it's all in his head. Okay, and that's great because it means that it's 100% in my control. It's 100% in my control. Okay. And so when it's 100% in my control, when things are going poorly, I can control myself about it. So I will tell you right now, I am listening, and there is a kid freaking the heck out outside. Okay, absolutely freaking out. I don't know if you can hear it. All right, and there are a couple of ways that I can react about that. Right, I can be worried about it. I can be concerned about it. I can wonder what the heck is going on, or I can be here paying attention to you guys and saying, look at that. That's a kid. He's freaking out because because that's what he does. Right. And so when we have things going wrong in our relationships, an awful lot of the time, it's because we think this person should be doing something that they are not doing. Okay? And as soon as you recognize that is one of the things that you want, you can figure out whether or not you're going to drop it or you're going to work with this person to create a want match. That's basically what you can do, because as everybody knows, even y'all who have kids, We can't make our kids want things that they don't want. We sure can make them do things. We can, when Zach's driving me up one wall and down the other, and it's wall squats until he figures out that he's got to treat his sister nicely or whatever. Okay? But, we still can't, if he is bound and determined not to eat vegetables, dude's not eating vegetables, right? And so I can't cram him down his throat. I can't beat him into submission around eating vegetables. And I don't want to, right? And so we've got to come up with something where his thoughts and my thoughts create the possibility of a healthy and nutritious life for this kid, right? And you create a want match. But the only way you create a want match, all right, is by understanding what it is that you actually want and what it is that is interfering with seeing this person as the independent human being that they are. Okay? And oftentimes it's the should that is interfering with the independent human being that they are. Okay? There are tons of things that I think should be going on in the world. I think the president should not be telling people to drink Lysol. I really think that shouldn't happen, all right? I think a lot of things about the president, what he should and shouldn't be doing, right? I think that my kids should eat vegetables. Okay? I think that my daughter should brush her hair more often. I think that people should stay home, okay? But here's the deal, is that when we are in should like that, we are only making ourselves miserable because people are not staying home, my daughter is not brushing her hair, said child not eating his vegetables, right? And so who's miserable? Me. Does not brushing her hair make my daughter miserable? No. Not until I put a brush in it, right? And then we got a rat's nest back here, right? And so being able to want to interact or be with the people who are in your life as the people that they are, all right, is an amazing thing. And I want you to try on for size what that looks like to want. To want to stop controlling everybody around you, all right? That is the way to have amazing relationships. Absolutely amazing relationships. When you stop wanting to control the people around you, you recognize you have all of the power to be present and accepting and sufficient in your own life, all right? And then you can do anything. You can do absolutely anything, okay? So what does that look like to go ahead and do, okay? So the thought that I am working, and I am myself to think, is I am developing the capability to parent Zach without manuals. So all of those shoulds are the manuals that we write for other people's lives. All right, so maybe think about what the manual you have is for your spouse or your kid or your mom or your dad or your mother-in-law or whatever, okay, how they're supposed to be living, okay? You have a manual, it's probably even thicker for your own self about what you're supposed to be doing, right? And when we start talking about the belief bludgeon has a lot to do with those manuals, which is why I'm introducing it today, because we're going to be talking about it more very. When you recognize that you are in should and manuals and thinking about people being other than the way they actually are, you can decide whether or not that's working for you. Okay? So here's how that looks. I am developing the capability to parent Zach without manuals. All right? So we do water first. Okay? All right, the W in water stands for want. Do I want to think this thought? Yes. So I've already done this part of it, but the strive and light I do every day. Do I want to think this thought? Yeah, I really do. I really want to think this thought because it makes me, and I can see it make me, have a better relationship with Zach and a better parent, and I have a better relationship with the other kids. Okay. How do I act when I want this? It allows me to step back, okay, when things are escalating. So I'm not going to lie, things are escalating outside right now. I can hear the boys all shouting at each other, right? And I can step back. I'm not interrupting my live. I'm not going downstairs and doing anything about it, right? How do I act? I act as if I'm in charge of my own self, okay? And we call that emotional adulthood. I'm in charge of my own self, and I'm in charge of my own reactions, right? So, how do I act? If I turn and look at the truth of my feelings, what are the positive feelings? I'm not in all that much emotional distress over what's going on outside. Yeah, and I'm a little, I'm kind of concerned. I'm kind of wondering what the heck is going on. But there's not a whole lot of negative emotions. And I'm here, and I am talking about it and things like that. It's allowing me to not resist the emotion of nervousness when the boys are going at it with each other and Andrew's trying to get a hold of it. Okay? There's no resistance there to the negative emotions, all right? So if we turn and face the truth, that's what I'm feeling, right? At the beginning of the month when I started this, I don't know that that would have been the case. I would have been resisting a lot of it. What evidence am I building? Well, right now, as I go through this, and it's like the 25th of the month, as I go through this, okay, I am really building evidence that this is really good for my relationship with Zach, okay? So I'm building a lot of evidence that this is really awesome, right? And then what results am I creating? I'm creating the result of a better relationship with Zach, right? Now, so that's how we decide. Water is how we decide whether or not this is really something we want to think. Is this a result that I want? A better relationship with my 12-year-old? Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. Now, I will tell you, not everybody wants a better relationship with their 12-year-old. Okay, that's totally up to them. Totally and completely up to them. All right? So then the question is now that we've decided whether we want this, how much do we believe this thought? All right, and what's standing in the way of this thought? All right, so I want to develop the capability to parent Zach without manuals is the thought I'm working on. And I will tell you, I have gotten myself to about a 9, all right? And so then we do a Strive protocol, right? Right? So, am I physically safe to parent Zach without protocols, or without manuals? Yes, totally physically safe. Am I financially safe? Yep. Am I emotionally safe? I have to tell you, this method of parenting my 12-year-old as if he is like a whole rational human being, well, rational isn't the word, but, as a developmentally appropriate 12-year-old, there are not a lot of people who are having these sorts of conversations. Am I emotionally safe with this way? I have taught myself to be, and so I am now. But there was a lot of self-judgment around what other people would think of me, okay? Because I wasn't parenting, I wasn't parenting the way I was parented. We were doing things the way other people do it, okay? Am I trained to do this? I am training myself. Do I respect myself, and do I respect Zach? I have to tell you, it takes effort to respect a 12-year-old sometimes, all right? And so sometimes this falls down. Do I, the I in Strive is, have I invested the time, talent, and treasure? I'm in the middle of investing it. Do I value it? Yes. I do this every day. I sit on my exercise bike, and I think about this thought every day, right? And I learn all sorts of things about myself. It's been very fascinating. Am I empowered to stand in fear and discomfort and failure? And the answer is yes, because I have stood in fear and discomfort and failure this month to do this with Zach, okay? And then we go to light. If I look around, how do I act? I act as if it's not all about me, okay? How do I act, all right? I act as if, like, I look at myself, and he has a fit. He's outside having a fit right now. It's not about me. It's all about Zach. It's all about Zach's thoughts. And he's gonna have to figure it out because he's literally the only person who can figure it out. Okay, so the L is all about look around. All right? Look around. After you look around, what does your integrity tell you? My integrity tells me that when I'm in this thought, that I'm developing the capability to parent Zach without manuals, I'm a hell of a lot happier. Okay, and so my integrity tells me I am happier. Oops, integrity. All right. Is this thought gentle? Parenting Zach without manuals is actually very gentle. It's more gentle to him, and it's more gentle to me. Right? And the H, is it helpful? It's really helpful. And I know it's going to be even more helpful because it is going to show him how to be an emotional adult, right? Which is hard for a 12-year-old. Their amygdala is the first thing that grows. Like their prefrontal, he's not even halfway there, guys. Your prefrontal cortex develops until you're 25 or 26. Kid's 12. He's not even halfway there to developing his prefrontal cortex, right? So yeah, so this is super helpful. All right. And then, does it build trust and credibility? Well, I will tell you, it builds trust and credibility with me, right? And it also builds trust and credibility with Zach, okay? Because it gives him his own agency, right? It gives him the power to understand that the fit he's having outside is all about him and his thoughts. It is not about me. It is not about his dad. It is not about his brother or his sister. It is about him and his little brain, right? And then he gets to decide whether or not he's going to do anything about it. That's all, right? And so, good. When you can have that sort of remove from all of your relationships and you know, sister, it ain't about you. That's amazing because it allows you to like take care of the things that are about you. Your reactions, your emotional attachment, all of those things, those are what's about you. Okay? And that's amazing because that's what you have control of, right? You have control of these thoughts. You have control of these thoughts. Those are the only things you have control of. You do not have control over those thoughts. Whether this is your 12-year-old or your spouse or your boss or your employee or your supplier or your customer. Only right here, okay? So what do you want? What do you want when it comes to relationships? Right? So that's what we got today. Let me go check and see what we have on questions. Doesn't look like we have any questions. You are all deeply beautiful and amazing people. Sorry I was late. Tomorrow I will be here at noon. And we are going to launch into the next part after we want what we want. Okay, and we go through water, strive, and light and decide that we want what we want. Then we have to go out and we have to do stuff about it. And then we meet our own brain. And that's what we're going to be talking about. All right. I love you all. You're amazing. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. And I will tomorrow. Bye, guys.